Hey y'all, welcome back to Through with a Splash of Tea, a podcast where we either speak to brilliant people, do this thing one-on-one, or have best friend chats with my best friend T. I'm your host, Cass.
And I'm T. Let's get into it.
Alrighty, T, what are we talking about today?
I don't know if it's a famous question, but do your kids owe you?
As a
or
parent.
do kids owe their parents? Yes.
I like that one. Do kids owe their parents? Off the bat, it's a yes or no question. T, yes or no?
No.
Cass, yes or no? No. Oh, it's crazy. Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. All right, let's hop right into it. So we both come from minority households, Haitian households, where we've been in spaces, not necessarily it being our parents, but we've been in spaces where we've heard parents like, well, I fed you, I gave you this, I gave you a place to sleep, I give you XYZ, so you should give me this money, you should do this for me, you should do XYZ.
Mm-hmm. Why are you throwing taking care of me in my face?
The duty you chose to move forward
when you
with.
was hunching, okay?
and after, because you have time to make a decision.
Yeah.
So the duty you chose to move forward with, you're now throwing in my face.
I didn't ask to be here.
Okay, but what if the parent that's telling you to do something also didn't ask for you to be here? Like that parent necessarily.
Damn, that's actually kind of shady. So he didn't want me or she didn't want me and they was forced. Okay, all right, that kind of changes it a little bit. Then it'd be like, well, damn, we both stuck. The hell? Like, you should have, I don't know, you should have stood on business and handled your business.
Should have made what happen. No.
Yeah.
But like, even in that case, even if you didn't want, even if you didn't
because
want.
There's also other options. Like, it doesn't have to be you terminating your pregnancy. It could be you giving me up to someone else that is willing to take care of, like adoption or passing on to a family member. Like there's options. So it's like, you didn't have to do these things for me if you didn't want to. Now that I'm 18.
What if he's the dad?
And the mama didn't want to give it up?
Yeah.
Well, then she's a single mother. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, leave her alone. What you want?
She's a single mother.
I just couldn't imagine, like, you're staying with this man or you're staying with this woman as a man. You're staying with the woman
that forced you to have her kid?
Yeah, like you didn't want the kid or whatever. The relationship is done. What you going to do? You're going to sit there and be there and just be filling with resent every day? Like, I feel like, there's men that, like, didn't want it in the time that it happened or whatever the case may be, and still, like, I'm going to stick to my responsibility and I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to take care of this child. Okay, so you cannot then throw it in my face or feel like I'm obligated to give you something or whatever once I come to an age of, like, making money or whatever the case may be. You still chose this. So it all falls down to you made the decision to procreate or to be a part of the life. You could have signed away your parental rights. I don't know if people know that that's, like, the real thing. Like, you don't, I'm not encouraging it, but, like, you don't have to do nothing. Like, if you don't want nothing to do with that child, then you don't want nothing to do with it. But if you choose to raise that child and provide for that child, the basic necessities, food, clothes, and shelter, when they get to a certain age, it shouldn't be like, oh, well, who was feeding you all these years? Nigga, you, because, hello, CPS would have came. What are you talking about? Feeding me?
I think that a lot of people say that because they were like, oh, I didn't have to do this. But like, I didn't have to feed you. Like, you would have let me, like, logically think about that. I didn't have to feed you. I didn't have to put clothes on your back. Okay, so you would have let me walk out naked. You could have, but you chose not to. You chose to buy those.
Morally, it's not.
And because people have been talking, your kids walking to school with no clothes on, you don't think people.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense. Like, those are the bare minimums. Like, you going above and beyond, like, okay, signing your child up for sports and buying them designer and, like.
But even then, like, can you throw that in your kid's face? No.
You can't, but I'm just saying, like,
you have to do extra to even have a platform to stand on.
Like, you had to have been doing some shit for you to, I don't know. It's never okay, but I just feel like if you were, like, investing into, like, No, it's never okay.
Like,
so let me not
I bought you your second Mercedes. I didn't have to buy you that second car. I decided to buy you that second car.
Didn't.
Even if it's that,
you decided to.
You decided to do that, and it's not okay for you to throw things in your kid's face in a like. At all. I don't think it's ever okay. Really. But if you want to do that, it needs to be in a facet where you're trying to teach them something.
Yes.
Not like you're trying to hurt them or hurt their feelings or make them feel like bad about themselves.
They owe you something back.
Or you're trying to get something. You can't do it because I'm trying to get something that I'm throwing this. No. Like, this is a teaching moment. So I need to let you know, a Mercedes ain't cheap, baby.
Yeah.
These designer things aren't cheap. Or even the food. Like, the food that we buy isn't cheap. I do this because I love you. I do this because I'm the head of this house or whatever. Yeah. But, like, have it be a teaching moment. Don't have it... I did this for you, so you owe me. No.
Yeah. That you got your first paycheck. Well, give me half because I've been providing, and now you need to... No.
Yeah. And I feel like that is a lot of the case in single-parent households where it's like, damn, all this financial burden is falling on my back, which is very difficult, very hard to do.
Absolutely.
And they're like... at a place of like, I don't know where to turn. Okay, so you owe me this, or can you give me this? No, I can't give it to you. Okay, well, you owe me because I did this for you. I did that for you. I did this for you. And you're my son. But it's like, you can't get there. You can't get to that point because at the end of the day, that kid did not ask to be here.
Yeah. That's not fair.
That's not fair.
Now I'm making my own little bit of change, or I got a little thing going on for myself. Like, you should actually be trying to show me how to end up in a better position. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, well, when I was your age, I wasn't saving and I wasn't doing this and I wasn't doing that. So now that you're coming into some money, like, make sure that you have a savings account. Make sure that you're doing what is the 70-30? I don't do that, but make sure, like you said, like make this a teaching lesson versus it like being like, oh, no, you owe me. And I think the owing thing is very big in the Black community. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, I haven't heard that conversation happen in a lot of Caucasian households that I've been in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
And it's not to, okay, what I'm about to say is not saying that Black people don't love their kids. But white people love the fuck out of their children. Like, like it's all for them. Like, like they are having the accounts, they're saving for their child. And like, and I just know that they have a different head start than we do. Mm-hmm. I could take all of that into account, but it's still like boils down to the fact that like, I don't ever see them, and this isn't all of them. Some of them might, but I don't ever, like you said, it's not a conversation where it's like, oh yeah, my mother said like, I owe her, or like, now that I'm 18, or okay, you don't want to do this? Well, you can get out my house. What? Why? Damn, why I gotta get out?
Is a lot.
Well, why are you kicking like
the kick out?
And I get teaching a child responsibility. Yeah. So at 18, if you have zero bills, life is like, like we have bills. That's just what adulthood consists of. Mm-hmm. So I'm teaching you little things, but I'm not making it so, again, it's a teaching thing. I'm not making it so it's like, oh, if you don't do this, then you're getting out. No, it's like, okay, you're making a little bit of money now. Put it aside, like, or give me X amount a month for rent and everything else, Mm-hmm. And like, who's to say I'm actually using that? Like, I have a friend whose mother and father charge her rent, but they like saved it and then gave it back to her when she moved out.
I love that. If my ego ever gets pregnant, I want to do that.
Absolutely. Like, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. And your child doesn't even know that that's what's actually being done. Like, but you're still teaching them responsibility because this is real life. Like, so like at 18, maybe not like, okay, 18, they're still very childish, but like, you start giving them like, setting that tone and, like instilling that.
It's structure.
Yes, exactly. Structure.
Absolutely.
So I'm not opposed to any of that, but like when you're making it like,
it's the it's the like I'm indebted to you.
Yeah, because you chose to have me.
What?
That's crazy.
What?
That's crazy.
And I remember like my mom is very like cut and dry. She's a realist as well. So I remember I have asked her multiple times, like, Mommy, like, why did you have me? I'm the youngest of 4. I'm like, in what economy do you want to have 4 kids? Like, I my mind does not wrap around
it. It was a different economy. You were born in 94.
Even in 94, I don't think I'd want to have 4 kids. Like
I feel like it doesn't matter.
Popping, like they look so good.
I feel like even if you were in the freaking 20s when shit was a nickel, you wouldn't have 4
kids.
kids.
Exactly.
You would never have 4 kids. That's just what it is.
Doesn't make any sense to me. Like 4, that's such a big number. That's 2 more than 2.
Yeah. My mom came from 4. Yeah. I grew up with my aunt who had 4. Like, I don't know. It is a lot, but like, okay, so back to what did she say when you said that?
So I was like, why did you have, I've asked her, like, why did you have me? And she's like, what do you mean? Like, I wanted to have you. And I'm like, okay, but like, why? And she was like, Cassandra, I wanted to have another kid. Like, bro, you don't think I could have aborted you? I could have aborted you. Just like that, cut and dry. And I'm looking at her, and she's like, I could have aborted you. And I'm like, this lady probably maybe might have thought about this and like really was like, all right, what am I gonna do? Like, am I gonna, and she chose to like keep me, and that was her choice. And she always says it, like, I chose this. And that's exactly what it is. As a parent, you have the choice if you want, oftentimes, if you want to keep this child or not. And it's sad if you don't, but oftentimes you do. And you decide, I want to keep this child. So there is no owing after that point. You decide you do not want to keep this child. There's no owing after that point.
Yeah.
There's no
free.
owing.
You're free of any type of obligation.
Do you think a parent owes their child?
I think you owe me the bare minimum.
Like what?
Of like providing for me.
Like food, shelter.
Yeah, food, shelter, and clothing. Like, I feel like that is the bare minimum. There's no and ifs or buts about that. And that's when I'm saying, like, other things are, like, additional. You know,
do you
it's
think
good.
They owe you emotional intelligence?
Yes. I think you owe me, structure. I think you owe me, like, stability. I think you owe me all these are, like, a bunch of, like, not little things, but, like, in general, food, shelter, clothing. But yeah, no, you do owe me like some type of emotional. I feel like parents should be emotionally available for their children to teach them that, because I think we've talked about it before, but like people who are raised off love and raised off survival, like I feel like you owe your child some type of emotional understanding. I think you owe them some type of structure so they know like how to like
maneuver
through life.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like people forget that, or a lot of people don't think that, think about the fact that kids are not going to stay kids. You're raising an adult.
Yeah.
To be able to work and maneuver through society. And it's not just like, oh, I'm raising a 2-year-old. Yeah, you are, but you want to instill certain things in them and get them to have some type of understanding, so when they are thrown out into the real world where it's a dog-eat-dog world, you know, they're ready for it. Yeah. So I think you do owe your child more things like mentally, intellectually, than just food, shelter, and clothes. But yeah, I think if anyone owes anyone anything, it's the parent to the kid, right? The parent owes the kid something versus like, the kid owing you once they get to a certain point.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true too. I'm a believer that you do like the bare minimum, like you got to give that to your kid. Like that's what you signed up for. And then like that emotional intelligence. But I'm also like, you know that that clip from Fences when Denzel's talking to his son, like and
he was like, I don't have to like you.
Love that. I love that scene, you guys, in Fences. Oh that is one of my favorite clips because it's like so bare bones, like. It's so basically Denzel Washington has a son. If you haven't seen Fences, first you need to read the book, and secondly, you need to watch it.
I've never done either. I'm sorry.
Wait, but you don't have to watch it in English?
Nope.
I think I read the book in English. That's what introduced me. Interesting. That's very interesting. But there's also a play that you should watch as well. But anyways, in this scene, essentially, Denzel has a son. It's like in the 40s or the 50s or something, or 30s.
Like older times.
Denzel has a son, and the son, he has like this monologue with the son, and Denzel's like, why do you think I do all this for you? Like that he works like really hard, like all this stuff. He's super blue collar. And he's like, why do you think I do all this stuff for you? And the son is like, because you like me. And Denzel goes into like this deep monologue about like you. I don't like you. It's not because I like you. It's because it's my duty. I owe you this. I'm indebted. I'm indebted to you for this, which I 100% agree with, and I think is 100% true. I think at the end of the day, bare bones, if you decide to have kids, you become indebted to them to provide the best that you can for them. A lot of the times when we grew up for boomers, that just meant, okay, I have to work, I have to make sure there's food on the table, I have to make sure that people are dressed. I don't got to talk to them. I don't have to make sure that they're emotionally okay. I just got to make sure that they're good and they're alive and they're going, which is great. Which is the bare bones in my eyes. But we do, realizing now and being a millennial that grew up from a boomer and realizing how mental health is so important, we do need a little bit more than the bare bones. But I like the idea of, because I decided to have you, I am indebted to you for these basic things. So it doesn't matter if I want to or not. I have to provide this for my household, the end. Not because I like you, but because I decided to become indebted to you.
You really like that part of him saying
yes, that. Yes, I like you.
That's your part, though.
I wish.
She's crazy. She loved that part. Like, I don't like you. I thought he said, I never really, like I said, I never seen it. So I thought he said, like, the son was just like, he said to his dad, like, you don't like me. Like, I thought that's what he said.
Oh, yeah, that is what he said. Yeah. You don't like me.
He was like, yeah. I ain't gotta like you.
Okay, because that's a little mean.
Don't mean. I'm like, why is Cass like this person so damn much? This nigga Denzel said, like you? I ain't gotta like you. He's like, I love you. Like, okay, yeah, this is true. I guess you can love someone and not like them. Can you?
Absolutely. I love people that yes. Yes.
You about to get carried away there, girl. They was finna know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So you can love someone that you don't necessarily like them.
Okay, but I don't think you should tell your kids that you don't like them.
No, you absolutely should not.
But I think that you should let them know, I don't do this because I like you. I don't think your children should think that you do everything you do for them because you like them. That's not, no. Because they're going to go, like, I like Charlie at school, so I'm going to do this, that, and that. Like, no. Like is not associated with that. Because I'm your parent. Because I love you, you know?
Yeah. So the message behind what he was saying, you completely agree with, but the way he presented it was not.
But I did like the way I just don't think that you should say, like, I don't like you.
Denzel can do no wrong.
No, I mean, very little wrong. Very little wrong that fine black man can do.
And John Q, that man did what he was doing for his son. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
Hello. Yes. I think it's really important for us, or for parents, well, for you as a parent, or just parents in general, y'all and y'all tribe, to understand the emotional aspects and, like, how mental health is so important and all that stuff, even after providing the bare minimum. Yeah. But, like, we know that now. That's all we talk about now.
Talk to y'all children, y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when they come home from school, like, ask questions. Like, how was your day? And even if, like, you know, you can start the habit before they even really know how to talk. Your kid's going to kindergarten, can't really describe to you the way your teenager will be able to describe to you. But, like, start these traditions and stuff so they know that they have a safe place with you. A lot of things, like, a lot of kids don't feel safe with their parents. Absolutely. You know? So it's just like, oh, I'm just going to fend for myself in life because I don't feel like I can go and talk to my mom or my father about X, Y, Z. And it's like, no, your kids should feel safe with you and be able to have these conversations and stuff like that. And you're teaching them emotional intelligence and mental stability. And, you know, like, this stuff is important. So when you choose to have a child, you're choosing to take on all of that stuff. Like,
but I don't think a lot of times people think about it, all those aspects.
I don't think they think about it.
They don't.
And, like, the first 7 years of your kid's life are the most important. And that, like, kind of, like, molds and builds who they're going to be as an adult.
Absolutely.
So it'd be like, you just not doing nothing.
Like, what? And I think it's so important to, like, also have the conversation of not, like, do I want kids with your spouse? Like, do you want kids? Yes. All right, we're cool. Like, no. How do you want to raise your children?
Parenting your
what
kids,
like what do you want to do? Like, is your kid going to eat out or no? Is your kid going to try everything or no? Is your kid going to play sports or no? Do a musical instrument or no? Like, how do you want, and, like, what was important in your growing up that you want to implement in this household? What cultures will what
things do you want to avoid? Like, what experiences did you have in your household that you just didn't feel like were right? Yeah. And you don't want that for your child. Like, what are your absolute deal breakers when it comes to your children? Like,
And that's oftentimes easier to think about. So I would start on that sense. Like, what are your hard no's? And then you can typically be like, but this is a hard yes. Or this I like.
Like, I can do this. I can do that. We could do that. Whatever. But all in all, your kids don't owe you a damn fucking thing. Yeah. But respect. Absolutely. Yes. Like, we could talk about we could talk about those things. Like, your child does owe you respect.
Yeah. Yep.
Because of you bringing them into this world, all that you do for them, you providing. Like, no, you owe me some level of respect.
Absolutely. And with that respect, I think it also comes in, like, because I'll talk to a lot of moms that'll be like they'll feel bad, like, I didn't want to do that, or I didn't want to tell her no, or I didn't want to I didn't want to do this. But, like, part of that respect element is you know what's best. Like, you know what's best. Like, stop knocking yourself down.
Longer than you.
Yeah, like, you as a parent know what's best, so don't knock yourself down because, like, oh, she's crying out, Like, no, you're a parent because you know what's best.
Yeah.
So the respect that she's providing you, the reason that she listened to your no is because she sees you as a parent, she respects you, and because you know what's best. So don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
So we're going to wrap it up there, ladies and gentlemen. That was or did you want to add anything?
Don't let your parent gaslight you into thinking you.
Oh my gosh. No, I think you should. Why did you laugh?
Because it's true. Don't let them be like, and I feel like when your parent has raised you, like, not that there's right or wrong, but if your parent did a really good job raising you, you grow up wanting to give them a lot, because it's like, I watched you struggle. I watched you bend over backwards for me and never ask me for a single thing and do all these things that, yes, are required of you, but you went above and beyond that requirement limit. And now as an adult, like, I'm working super hard because I want you to finally be able to relax.
Yes.
I want you to be able to take a deep breath and be in, like, this house that's not paid. I mean, that's all paid for, and driving this, like, nice car. Like, when you raise your children and also implement, like, they value and they understand certain things. Yeah, they're going to grow up and be like, yo, nah, my mom deserves the world. My dad deserves the world. So I'm going to give it to them. Not because they told me that I have to do it and that I owe it to them for everything that they've done for me, but because I've watched them do so much for me and never bat an eye.
Absolutely.
Never throw it in my face. And I want,
Don't let your parents gaslight you into thinking certain things, because don't let them do that.
And I feel like, I mean, at our age, like at 30, like, you, mama, I don't even live in your house. Like, you ain't really
finna. Not really much.
But, like, I feel like this happens early teens to, like, not early teens, late teens. So, like, anywhere between, like, 18 to, like, 22 is, like, that time period where they're just like, yeah, you owe me. Like, I feel like that's when that topic comes about.
And I think it often happens, and I want to talk about this real quick too. I think it often happens in households where it's, like I said, either a single parent or there might be both parents in the household, but there's some sort of financial, like, issue or like,
struggle,
struggle. But even if you're in that space as a parent, like, we're not saying that it doesn't get hard. We're not saying that rent ain't $1 million. We're not saying that the groceries aren't crazy expensive right now, so you don't need to ask your 20-year-old for $20 and he doesn't leave the house ever. We're not saying that, but it's the owe aspect of things that gets really tough.
Yeah.
Because to say your kid owes you, even if they aren't doing anything and they're living in their house and you give them everything, the owe is difficult.
Yeah.
Because it can still be a place of correction that doesn't have to do with owe.
Yeah. And like I said, like, teaching them responsibility. Like, one day you're not going to be in my house anymore. So you're going to have to understand, like, bills are due and they're due at a certain time. You can't just, I don't feel like paying this, Like, you're going to have to know certain things. So even if I'm telling you, like, okay, this is due, you're old enough now to understand and contribute to it. It's not me trying to tell you that you owe it to me, know?
Right.
Because if you weren't doing it, it's still going to get done one way or another. I might have to figure it out. But I want you to understand that when you are out on your own, this is real shit that you're going to have to deal with. So it's only right that I'm teaching you it now. Like,
absolutely.
And I'm not asking you for the full $2,300, $2,700 that they're asking me. I'm telling you to give me a cool little $100, like, just so you know, like, putting money aside and just getting into that habit of providing for yourself
is important and is a necessity, especially if you're living in these times, and especially if you're living in this country.
Yeah.
Like, so important. One last thing I want to tack onto that is the respect element of things. You implementing these as a parent clearly isn't bad because it teaches structure that we just said, but you enforcing them also enforces the respect level in your house. So if you charge your son $100 every month and this month he's like, nah, I'm not going to give it to you. In the real world, it doesn't just slide. Yeah. So you need to think of something that'll work in your household that'll be a repercussion to that. To that, I don't want to, because there are repercussions in the real world. It might be tough because that's your baby, but you're not raising a baby. You're raising a man.
Exactly.
A provider. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. That wraps up our conversation on owing. And if you owe your parents,
kids owe you.
And do your kids owe you?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is no.
We hope you made it this far.
Yes, we hope you made it this far. Thanks for listening. Thank you for watching if you watched. Thanks for listening if you listened. And as always, you can find Through With a Splash of Tea on all platforms, including YouTube as well. So make sure you watch. And we'll be back next week. Thanks so much.
See ya.
That was good. Ooh, that was good.